This is QTV News. I am Mamudu Gajaga and thanks for joining us. Our top stories. After months of anticipation and leaks of some of its contents, the report by the JANNEH Commission, which looked into the financial dealings of ex-President Yahya Jammeh and his close associates, has been released. The report contains some explosive revelations about ex-President Jammeh and his allies. President Adama Barrow has returned from his trip to Qatar, during which he strengthened ties between the two countries. The National Assembly members have adopted, with suggested amendments, revised standing orders. These set out the rules on how business is conducted within the National Assembly. The Women Enterprise Fund is launched as government advocates for gender equality. For more on these and other stories, stay tuned. And tonight, the big story is, after reviewing the report of the Commission of Inquiry into the financial dealings of former President Yahya Jammeh and his family and close associates, the government of the Gambia has published the Commission's report and a white paper outlining government's action on some of the Commission's recommendations contained in the Commission's report. In reaction to the recommendations, a lien has been placed on private institutions and a life ban placed on some former public officials from serving in public offices. Mamudu Lamin Choi has been monitoring, and this is his report.
The long-awaited and much talked-about report by a commission mandated to investigate financial dealings of former President Yahya Jammeh and his close associates has been published for the Gambian people. The 1,600 pages long report contains findings and recommendations of the Commission of Inquiry from witness testimonies. The Commission's report has found former President Yahya Jammeh liable for what it says is wasting and misappropriation of state funds amounting to over 1 billion Gambian dollars, $300 million and £2 million. The report further reveals that more than $3 million, $1 million and thousands of pounds sterling was transferred for use by Operation Save the Children Foundation, which was owned and run by Zainab Jammeh. The findings of the Commission also indicate that from 1994 to 2017, former President Jammeh had operated directly or indirectly over 100 bank accounts in the Gambia.
It was discovered that bank accounts were opened into which funds paid by members of the public and intended for the state were directly controlled and expended by former President Jammeh or on his instructions.
Based on the Commission's findings, 17 persons have been identified as close associates of former President Yahya Jammeh. These close associates include military officers, private individuals and companies which had directly or indirectly had business transactions with Yahya Jammeh.
Notwithstanding, in most cases, members of the business community in their dealings with former President Jammeh were motivated by greed and opportunism, while those who served in public office were mostly motivated by a combination of fear and self-preservation.
According to discovery by the Commission, during his tenure as head of state, Yahya Jammeh acquired 281 landed properties in the Gambia. The list included private residential and commercial properties, islands, forest parks, wildlife reserves, and wetlands. 2 other landed properties in the US and Morocco were discovered by the Commission. The Commission's report further stated that they are of the view that Jammeh further made extra attempts to illegally appropriate lands for himself.
The government's main objective, as reflected in the white paper, is the recovery of money stolen and or misappropriated from the state by former President Jammeh, his family members and close associates. For the avoidance of doubt, the white paper does not and neither is it intended to reflect all the findings and recommendations of the Commission. It only contains the key findings and recommendations that the government wishes to highlight from the report, and mirrors the findings and recommendations against the list of individuals identified in Volume 9 of the Commission's report.
The assets and properties of the exiled former president, including all in and outside the Gambia, companies, shares and orders, are to be sold, confiscated or reclaimed by the state.
The Commission underscored that the damage former President JANNEH has caused to government institutions, public resources, and state-owned enterprises is of such serious nature that the government ought to introduce a motion before the National Assembly for charges to be brought against him for theft, economic crimes, and corruption. Based on the recommendations of the Commission, the actions taken by the government are expected to generate at least $1 billion from the assets forfeited to the state and to be sold.
The government of the Gambia, acting on the recommendation of the JANNEH Commission, has also banned for life some former ministers and other senior government officials from serving public offices. The Gambia government has accepted recommendation of the Commission to bring criminal proceedings against Yahya Jammeh for theft, economic crimes and corruption. Mahmoud Lamin Choi for QTV News.
President Adama Barrow on Friday returned from the Gulf state of Qatar, where he was on a 2-day visit. In an interview with QTV's Aliou Cisse at the Banjul International Airport, Barrow describes the visit to Qatar as a success. Here is an excerpt.
The visit was a very important visit. It was at the invitation of the Qatari government and the entire government. I think the best way to communicate is to interface. I think that interface was very important, and we signed few agreements. Capacity building, we signed it, and we signed also in the area of communication. And it is also good news that we made a request for the OIC equipment for GRTS, and I think they were able to approve. And they even purchased the equipments at the value of $24 million. I think it was a very good trip, and it will also strengthen the relationship between Gambia and Qatar. On the 29th, there will be a big delegation. The Qatar Foundation and other groups will come here to engage the Gambia government to see how best they can help us. And personally, I make a personal appeal to the Amir so that they help us to build the hospital at Brikama. Brikama is the most densely populated area, and the population is growing in Brikama. So we wanted to have a first-class hospital in Brikama, and on principle, it is approved. So I think basically it was a very important trip to go to Qatar.
The National Assembly members have adopted, with some amendments, the revised standing orders regulating the way MPs conduct business and establishing the power of the Assembly committees. Aliou Cisse reports.
In August 2018, the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association UK commissioned a project to review the current standing orders of the Gambia's National Assembly. The standing orders regulate the way MPs conduct business and the powers of committees. The review was in response to a request from the Speaker of the National Assembly in May 2018. The month-long exercise was undertaken by a team of 2 clerks from the Northern Ireland Assembly and a team of the Gambia National Assembly members and clerks, which together formed the working group on the review of the standing orders. During the debate preceding the adoption of the revised standing orders, Member for Upper Salem Alhaji Mbow objected to the use of phones during sessions.
No, I'm not saying you make a phone call. No, it's not about making a phone call or sending a text message. But we are representative of the people. People need to talk to us, and then we also need to make a reference and to understand what we are actually saying in Parliament. And to do that, we must have easy reference to those documents, and I think that one we really need to look at. And I'll suggest the chair of the committee to closely look at that particular one. No phone calls, fine. But to make reference to regulations or the constitution for a mobile phone, I don't think there should be anything wrong with that. So I think they need to look at that one.
While commending the Standing Orders Committee chaired by Honorable Sidia Jatta of Wuli East, Sekuba Jajo of Busumbala once, among other things, immunity for members even after they have left National Assembly.
Also saying that the immunity of National Assembly should even continue, even their tenure after life after their tenures in the National Assembly. So it is something that we need to protect ourselves, not only protecting ourselves as we are active in this system.
Suleiman Saho of Central Badibu suggested for the roles of the majority and minority leader to be clearly spelled out to help them know their limits. He also has this suggestion.
Other one is about the attendance of the President of the State of Nations address. Madam Speaker, I have a recommendation here. Constitutionally, the President is allowed to come here and give a statement, but when it is done, he normally leaves us. I'm having a suggestion to make to the committee whether the President can stay after making the statement to attend our debates.
Fonyi Jaral MP Alaji S. Jame of the opposition APRC, which belongs to the minority side, believes the current minority leader of the NRP, part of the coalition government, does not represent them.
Honestly, if you are to stand by the truth, the present one is a coalition member. And even in the executive, you have the party leader in the executive. So still now, meaning he is working, it's a coalition government.
Standing Orders Committee Chairman Sidia Jata called for NAMS to embrace the document as it belongs to all of them.
But the standing orders are not for us, the committee. We are just your workers to do the job. But the job is for all of us. It belongs to all of us. And that is why it is up to every one of us at any time in the process of our development, when we realize that particular standing order is no longer valid, or there is a need for another standing order, there is nothing that stops you to make a proposal to the Standing Orders Committee.
The revised Standing Orders 2019 will come into effect after gazetting. The document, which was finally adopted with amendments by the MPs, is set to be in line with international standards. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliu Sise.
We will take a short commercial break and the news continues when we return.
Light. From the beginning of time, light has been there.
It is integral to our survival and to our way of living.
We need light to work,
To build,
to grow things, and even to see our loved ones.
light makes things easier and better.
So QCell has changed the way you buy QPower to make it easier and more accessible.
You can now access the same service quickly and get your cash power tokens instantly with the new QCell QPower code.
To light up your world, simply dial *363#.
With the touch of your fingers,
With ease and convenience from the comfort of your home or office,
you can bring light into your world instantly with *363#.
QPower, lighting your world.
QCell Sunyabus.
We innovate, others follow.
It is the new era in broadcasting. We showed it to you with our continuously improving content with thousands of viewers around the world. Now, how do you take advantage of our existing and constantly increasing viewership? Advertise with QTV and reach a large audience. Call us on 3244 or email marketing@qtv.gm. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. QTV Gambia. QTV, a new era in broadcasting.
Welcome back and thanks for joining us. This is QTV News. National Assembly members of the Technical Committee reviewing the draft Freedom of Information Bill are meeting to finalize the document. In keeping with the government's commitment to transparent and accountable public institutions, if passed into law, the bill will play a vital role in how the public can access information or records held by the government bodies. Babakar C visited the committee on Friday and files in this report.
The lack of adequate and ready access to relevant information has often left the press and the public with no choice but make up information and start rumors. A lack of information seriously limits our ability as citizens to analyze decisions made by our leaders with a view to challenging and holding them accountable. It is in an effort to address and redress this that the technical committee looking into the draft Freedom of Information Bill are putting the final touches before passing the document on to the Ministry of Justice and then to the National Assembly before the end of the year. The chairman of the CSO's coalition, John Charles Njai, described the draft Freedom of Information Bill as opening the democratic space and its engagement by civil society on issues of national interest. According to him, they are working hard to make sure the bill is passed by the end of the year, as promised by the Minister of Justice.
The Minister of Justice has said that he would like to see it passed by the end of this year. And that's why we are trying to do the finishing touches of it now. After that, we will do a public awareness campaign and, get the views of the public. And then the ministry, I'm sure, they will do justice by honoring the word of the minister to get it into the assembly by the end of this year.
Madi Jobate and Salu Tal both spoke of the bill's importance, describing freedom of information and expression as not only about the media, but also to a large extent about the people.
Suppose if the bill is put before Parliament before December, in the December sitting, and is passed, I don't see why the president should delay in assenting to it, And so, for me, by January 2020, we should have this law in place.
I think it's very important for all citizens and for the state and for all stakeholders. We move from a dictatorship to democracy, and one of the hallmarks of democracy is transparency, and there's no better way of having transparency than having access to information. It also, when access to information will enable our citizens to better equip to hold government accountable. Also, it will also ensure will also help government govern better, because there'll be less speculation. Rather than having information leaked, it will be available, and we can have an informed, mature discussion about issues that affect the state, the citizen, and how they intersect.
In 2017, the United Nations Democracy Fund approved a grant of $220,000 for the Gambia Press Union to implement the project Enhancing Media-Government Relations to improve the legal environment for freedom of expression in the Gambia. Since then, the GPU has worked with a range of national and international state and non-state actors towards promoting an enabling environment for the exercise and enjoyment of the right to freedom of expression as a catalyst for strengthening democracy and sustainable development. It is hoped that once the Information Bill is passed and becomes law, it will prove to be an important milestone in accessing official information. Babakar C, QTV News.
The Ministry of Women, Children and Social Welfare has officially launched the Women Enterprise Fund, as women are key actors in development of the country. The government's advocacy for gender equality is finally being put into action. Ajifatu Bintumbub reports.
In a quest to ensure sustainable development in the Gambia, the government has acknowledged the pivotal role women play. Mrs. Fatou Kinte, Minister of Women Affairs, Children and Social Welfare, shares more.
This fund is financially supported by the EU at the tune of €3 million, with the government of the Gambia contributing $6 million annually. This fund will be implemented over a 2-year period. A project board will be established to work closely with the Gambia Women Finance Association to review and approve requests for the release of the funds.
Entrepreneurship has become a main challenge for women entrepreneurs, especially those within the informal sector. Over the years, women in the informal sector have been disadvantaged when it comes to acquiring bank loans. As a result, they resort to petty trading instead of being able to implement their original plans. The chairperson of the National Women's Council, Aissatou Diye Sawane, says they are calling for the practice to end.
We are looking at achieving our own bank. That is the end game. So I am beginning from the end game coming up. The aims and objectives of this fund actually is to be able to alleviate some of the sufferings that the women encounter when they are doing their businesses, especially in the informal sector.
The project is open to all women in all areas of the Gambia. Mati Kanye Sambu, Councillor of Joshua constituency, shares her appreciation.
When we had the news, we were all happy because women are the ones who bear children and we try a lot for them. Any woman given financial aid will be happy. Maintaining a family has become a challenge for most women. When the fund comes, let it go through the process so that it can benefit the families as well as the country.
The Vice President says she has confidence in Gambian women.
Women, I have no doubt that you can make it. I have no doubt that you will maintain the peace that is needed for us to self-actualize.
Many, especially women, have believed that the launching of this project will no doubt result in easing some of the problems they face. Ajifatu Bintumbub, reporting for QTV News.
National Assembly members condemns travel opportunity segregation. Veteran politician and nominated member Majanko Samusa has frowned upon what he claims is segregation in terms of travel opportunities for National Assembly members. He made these claims during a debate on Thursday to adopt the newly revised standing orders for MPs. He hopes the revised standing orders will address many issues to help members perform their duties effectively. Aliou Cisse followed the deliberations, and here is an excerpt.
There are a lot of segregations that are going in this August House when it comes in terms of traveling, Madam Speaker. I have evidence. This is why I want this thing to be noted, to be put in this standing order. We cannot leave ourselves with the harsh authority to act anyhow they like, Madam Speaker. We are here representing the nation, not the House authority. The members are elected. Their input, they should not be deprived to make their input. You cannot be selecting people as you wish. That's why I told them this committee of conference should inculcate to have the power, understand, wherever, whenever the selection of members are going to take place, they should have a say. But we cannot leave ourselves with the House authority. Responsible people. Some people travel 1,000 times. Some people are here, they travel not more than 1 or 2. I served this assembly more than 3 days, almost 3 decades now, Madam Speaker. I have observed a lot of unfairness when it comes in terms of selection of members traveling. A member can belong to a committee traveling because you don't want that member, you segregate, you drop him and then allow the rest of the committee to travel. Madam Speaker, whether you are aware or not, but I'm trying to put this before this August House. These are issues that should be noted. Committee of Bureau should have a saying when it comes to the question of selection of traveling.
Child vendors at Tabokoto may be putting their lives at risk. The children who sell food items by the roadside are working in an unsafe environment. Ajibintu Drame went to find out, and see now reports.
Minors are seen around Tabokoto selling water or fruits in a busy traffic-filled street. It appears these children aged from about 6 to 15 have been allegedly assigned by their parents. Most schools are closed at the moment, but some of these children explain that they sell even when schools resume. We spoke to some people who expressed their views about the plight of these children. Fatou Sonko Toure, who has a shop in the area, says, yes, the country is not safe. I'm a woman. Some mothers will send their children to sell in the streets. Lots of schools are here, but you will find little children in this vicinity and the street is unsafe. Here in Tabokoto, there are frequent accidents and they mostly involve little children. Some children in the Gambia engage in what can be described as child labor. In an era where children are sometimes sexually exploited, trafficked or forced to be beggars, many organizations and child rights advocates say this is against the fundamental rights of children. Usman Sow explains how vulnerable these children are.
A lot of things happen on this road. The children selling here are quite young and it's not safe. This road is a highway and accidents may happen. Parents should take them to school so that when they grow up, they can do what they want.
2013 saw the Gambia try to make good progress in its efforts to eliminate the worst forms of child labor by training several law enforcement agencies on a range of issues related to curbing or stopping child labor. Following this, officials identified and provided service of 63 children allegedly working as housemaids and street vendors. It is unclear whether that progress has been made. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News.
Before we end this bulletin of the news, let's recap our main news stories. After months of anticipation and leaks of some of its contents, the report by the JANNEH Commission of Inquiry, which looks into the financial dealings of ex-President JANNEH and his close associates, has been released. The report contains some explosive revelations about the ex-president and his allies. President Adama Barrow has returned from his trip to Qatar, during which he strengthened ties between the two countries. National Assembly members have adopted, with suggested amendments, revised standing orders. These set out the rules on how business is conducted within the National Assembly. The Women Enterprise Development Fund is launched as government advocates for gender equality. That's all we have for you in this edition of the news. Join us tomorrow for more news. Thank you.